I remember my rookie year, my welcome to the NFL moment was like I was rolling in like my Toyota rental and I park it in the way back of the players lot. And all of a sudden there's this huge semi truck rolls in and parks up right in the front and takes like 2 damn spots, backs in. Beep, beep, beep. Backs in.
This guy can eat you up, man.
That was like my first welcome to NFL. I was like, holy I didn't even know you could buy semi trucks. Welcome to Dudes on Dudes. I'm Julian Edelman.
And I'm Rob Gronkowski.
And this is the show where your favorite dudes get to talk about their favorite dudes. And on today's episode, in order to celebrate Thanksgiving, we are going to talk about some Thanksgiving legends.
That's right, Jules. We get into one of the greatest running backs of all time. Popped out his shoulder, and he just kept going. All right, next, who we got, Jules?
He had 10 games on Turkey Day, 7-3 record.
The other team that played on Thanksgiving, not America's team.
But it could be America's team now.
It could be.
And then we get into our one and only.
And the story behind the iconic butt fumble on Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, the butt fumble.
And we wrap up by determining what Thanksgiving dishes your favorite NFL players are.
Football, turkey.
I love everything on my Thanksgiving dish, Jules.
You got to stick around to the very end. Let's go! Dudes on Dudes is a production of iHeartRadio. Today's Thanksgiving, and we wanted to bring a special episode dedicated to all Thanksgiving-themed things. We're going to go Thanksgiving players. We're going to go over some of our Thanksgiving memories and what Thanksgiving means to us.
Happy Thanksgiving, Jules. The best holiday of the year.
For sure, it is.
A lot of, incorporates family, incorporates pilgrims.
Pilgrims.
Yes.
Native Americans.
Yes. Not Christopher Columbus.
Native American Day.
Yes.
We're back.
Food.
My favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And football.
Oh, football. Oh, my favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're talking. What else? Family.
Family.
Yes. Childhood memories.
There's so many memories associated with Thanksgiving.
Fights. Family fights.
Always fighting. And there's Turkey Day football before you had organized football. Like Turkey Day is just so much.
What was your favorite thing to do on Thanksgiving?
My favorite thing to do on Thanksgiving, since I grew up on the West Coast, football started so early. So like you'd wake up, isn't there a game at like 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock?
There's usually 3 games a day.
Yeah. So you got a 12 o'clock game East Coast, a 3 o'clock, and then a 6 o'clock. West Coast, you wake up, it's 9 o'clock and there's football on. So you wake up, mom's already cooking. You organize your team for your Turkey Day game that you're going to go play with your boys at Stall Staff. Just a bunch of fun. The weather's a little colder. Thanksgiving is the best. Thanksgiving is the best. I think of the times when we were younger because when we played in the league,
we never had Thanksgiving.
We never really, we worked on Thanksgiving.
For real, even in college too. If you played football in the Division I level, in the pros, you never really had Thanksgiving. You were having Thanksgiving dinner with your teammates.
Whose house did you go to for Thanksgiving?
Whose house did I go to? It was a lineman.
Conley.
Yeah, it was. Was it Conley's house?
Conley.
Was it Dan Conley's house that one year? Did you go that year?
I've been to Dan Conley. Light always had one.
That's who.
But Conley and Mankins, him and his wife would always have us over. Like there was always a veteran group guy that always had all the young bucks when we were young bucks that didn't have family in the area would always host. And I remember Dan Conley did one year, and he was like the best cook. He made homemade marshmallows. I think he even made homemade beer for the night.
Did Matt Light have wild meat?
Oh, without a doubt. So don't you remember Conley? He would do 3 turkeys. He would deep fry a regular like butterball, bake a wild game turkey, and then there's like a third turkey that he would roast or something or barbecue. He did like 3 turkeys. He was amazing. You remember how good that food was?
It was so good. The fried turkey right there they made in front of us. He wouldn't let anyone get around it because he wanted to just make it spectacular and like to the T of like the exact way it was supposed to be made. And it was good, man. It was like moist when it was done. Yeah. I mean, delicious. Who ate the most turkey on our team?
Anytime it comes to kind of any food eating contest, my mind instantly goes to Marcus Cannon. I don't know why.
Guy's a machine. He can lift the most, so kind of transitions to being able to eat the most.
What's your favorite memory of Thanksgiving?
When we played the Detroit Lions, because we played them on Thanksgiving. I'd never really been home before for Thanksgiving in a long time since I was in high school. So to be able to play in Detroit, we got the win that week.
We were the old unis.
Yes, we did. We had the throwback, the red uniforms on. That was one of the coolest games out there because Ford Field is one of the greatest atmospheres in all of football, I feel like,
It's just it's an old atmosphere in the old factory, the old Ford factory.
The field's like down to into
Sunken.
the ground. Just feels like a football atmosphere. Like the new stadiums, the new domes, they're too futuristic. You know what I mean? It feels like it's built for entertainment, not for football.
Yeah.
So Ford Field is still one of those domes that has that feel. So I remember that game. We beat them. There was a couple fights on the field. I got in a fight or two.
With who?
One of those DBs that are rushing on field goal.
Yeah.
So he was rushing on field goal, talking garbage. So I'm the wingman. You're supposed to go like this and then that and try to take two guys. I literally just ran full speed at the DB and tried decking him on field goal.
Did you?
Yeah, I did deck him. And then it started a fight, and then Matt Light came over. He was pushing everyone around. He loved that action. And
Matt Light loved to fight.
But what I loved about Thanksgiving, though, after that game was I hopped in the car with my mom because she was at the game, and we drove back home to Buffalo that night.
Oh.
So I got to spend Thanksgiving night with my family for the first time in quite some time, which was a privilege, man. It felt good to do that. So I won a game, an NFL game in Detroit, my rookie season, and then went home, had Thanksgiving dinner with my family. And then I went out to the bar, Amherst Ale House, and I got to see everyone from my childhood growing up, from high school. And that's kind of the definition of what Thanksgiving should be, man. It's about bringing the old timers back. It's about bringing the old memories back and just enjoying them. Your family, your friends, you don't forget where you come from when it comes to Thanksgiving.
No. That Wednesday night, like we don't get to experience it, but that Wednesday night before Thanksgiving where you get to go to the local bar with all your friends and stuff. I've done it a couple times when I was on IR. It's just it's a comfort feeling because it's the people you remember growing up with, and you get to go home to a great meal the next day and see all your family and enjoy the fighting, the love that's there, the fighting that's there. Enjoy the football. I mean, it's just it's so what you remember as a kid. Like that's what kid life was.
That Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, they claim, I don't know, I think the internet claims or all the partiers claim it's the biggest party night of the year. Bigger than New Year's, bigger than any Saturday night out there. They say the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving is the biggest party night in America. Is that true, Jules?
Well,
I never done it before. I never been out on a Wednesday night before Thanksgiving because I always have practice early morning. Yeah. That's also why I love Thanksgiving too. I'm very thankful for Thanksgiving because of this reason. You always got out early on a Thursday from football practice.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, the best. You would get in, you would have a quick meeting, 1 hour meeting, and then practice would start at like 9 a.m. at the beginning of the practice. And you go out there, you practice real quick.
It's
practice
a happy
hard.
practice. Everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy because they know they're going home right after this practice like the old days
meetings.
When you're in high school. No meetings after. Yes, that is correct. You get a quick lift in or something, burn as many calories as you possibly could so then you can go home and go to that Thanksgiving dinner and eat as much as possible and show everyone up. And that's what it was all about too. There was competitions on how much you could eat, kind of like stroked your ego. I mean, it was just what dudes do, man. It's just, I can eat more than you.
Yeah.
No, I can eat more than you, buddy. And then it turns into a fight, but that's just a dude.
And I remember, when you didn't have the relationships with like the big top dogs yet, and you'd eat at the facility with all the guys that, didn't have their families there. There'd be a huge old like population of guys in the freaking sauna. Everyone wanted, like Rob said, to get their calories in so you could eat as much as you could. Guys would be sweating and working out. And then you'd see a group of guys that didn't have their families, and they'd have their Thanksgiving in that cafeteria with each other and bring stuff back to their family or whoever's at their house. That's what it was. Your Thanksgiving, your family was your football team when you were in these kind of situations, whether you were in college or you're pro or a young pro guy that didn't have their families. You got to have that family time with guys that you played with. That's kind of something I remember too from Thanksgiving.
What's one thing that you're thankful for, Jules? Just one thing. Because we're gonna be thankful throughout the whole episode. But what's one thing you're thankful for?
I'm thankful that right now in my life, most of my family's healthy. All of my family's healthy. That like my daughter, my parents.
Mm-hmm.
my brother, my sister, their
You can't
kids.
ask for anything better than that.
That's
you can't.
That's so lucky.
That's the biggest blessing right there. That's for sure.
What about you, Rob? What do you think?
We kind of already on the subject. We were already talking about it, the turkeys, how they're roasting everything. I'm thankful for the food out there, man, and how lucky we are to be able to eat the nutritious and delicious food that we do eat on a daily basis. I mean, we get organic food. We get food that's medicine for our bodies that, builds up our motor. We get food that delivers us our energy that we need to get throughout the day. We get the protein that we need to get at all times so we can build up our muscles after a strenuous workout. So just food, man. Because without food, man, life is tough, man. You get hangry, fragile. I mean, food builds you up with strength and courage. So I'm thankful for food, my man.
Yeah, that's a great one to be thankful for. But there's a lot of people that don't have food in this world.
Exactly.
And we're blessed. We're, like you say, we get to have the organic shit and all the good stuff and
food that feeds our soul.
There's a lot of people that don't even have food in this world. Remember, you got to be thankful for everything you got.
All right, Jules, let's get on to our first Thanksgiving guy who has plenty of Thanksgiving ties through the NFL.
Let's get on to Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith, running back, Dallas Cowboys from Pensacola, Florida. Let's see what the synopsis of Emmitt Smith says from
what is that
the great AI, ladies and gentlemen.
We need 10 minutes.
Emmitt Smith, standing at 5'9" and weighing 221 pounds. That's a big boy for 5'9".
Jeez.
Oh, Molly, what are you? You're 5'10", what?
198 was my playing weight.
Man.
I was big, though. I was thick.
He was even thicker.
He's 2C thick.
He played running back in the NFL primarily for the Dallas Cowboys and later for the Arizona Cardinals. Drafted 17th overall by the Cowboys in 1990 from the University of Florida. Smith quickly established himself as a durable, high-caliber player known for his resilience and agility on the field. He retired as the NFL's all-time leading rusher with 18,355 rushing yards, 164 touchdowns, and earning 3 Super Bowl rings, all with the Dallas Cowboys, an MVP award, and an induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Was he first ballot?
First ballot for sure.
Was he? Was he first ballot for sure?
He was first
100%. 100% he should have been. And here's a quick fun fact. Emmitt's pregame ritual included eating 2 packs of peanuts, M&Ms, making him one of the most efficient candy-fueled athletes ever, man. Now, that's might be the most impressive thing about his career. And I wonder if he ate those peanut M&Ms on Thanksgiving Day after Thanksgiving dinner, or if he indulged into some like pumpkin pie instead, or some apple pie with some ice cream and whipped cream with a cherry on top. Or did he love those peanut M&Ms that much that he wouldn't sacrifice even on Thanksgiving? What do you think?
I think it became a superstition thing early on. I mean, running backs in their candy. You got Marshawn with Skittles. You got Emmitt Smith with peanut M&Ms. I mean, it is what it is. These guys are sometimes most of the time the running back's a specimen that just needs fuel, and they could eat anything they want because they running and getting blown up all day, and they're touching the ball a lot. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Emmitt Smith?
One of the greatest running backs of all time.
Yeah.
Exemplified what being a star really meant, especially being on the Dallas Cowboys. Like, he was that star symbol.
Yeah.
When he was playing with Dallas. Yes, that is true. Jerry Jones did say that, but he really did exemplify it that much. He exemplified what being a running back truly meant. They truly ran the ball and ran it with, conviction, with resilience. And also, he's like one of the first guys to truly start that era of everyone wanting to be a running back growing up. Here's the thing. No one really wants to be a running back anymore. It's 2020s, and it's all about being a wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. Back in the day when it was Emmitt Smith, everyone wanted to be a running back. Everyone.
100%.
Even myself, and I knew I wasn't a running back.
I mean, Emmitt Smith is huge. When I think of Emmitt Smith, I think of the Cowboys, and I didn't like him. I didn't like him because he was so damn good. I was a 49ers
fan. Okay.
And this was prime in when I was watching football in the 90s, and they were just so good. Him, the triplets, him, Aikman, and Michael Irvin. And it just seemed like he would lull you to sleep behind that offensive line. He'd get lost behind the line. And I just hated him because he'd always beat us in Candlestick. It didn't matter. Cowboys were always beating us except for 95. Peanut M&Ms. Did you have any superstitions before games, or what was your pregame food?
I had a pregame ritual.
I remember you just eating hella pasta.
I did eat hella pasta, but there was also the peanut butter and jelly made with my mom's jelly. That was always a routine. If I had to do it every single Sunday to get me prepared and get me, mentally right, that I was on the right track and kept the tradition going of always having a PB&J with my mom's homemade jelly. And then on top of it, a chocolate milk, man. I love chocolate milk to this day. And I just felt like, getting that protein in my system and the carbs, what better way to make the tradition sustainable with my mom's homemade jelly? I'm telling you, the best jelly in the game.
Did you hear that going around Uncrustables in the NFL? There's like 7,000. I heard PMT and the boys talking about it. It's crazy because peanut butter and jelly has always been like the athlete snack. Like you need a little quick calorie burn down. You need some calories, a cup of protein, some sugar, some bread, little fuel right before you get a PB&J. Throw a little honey on there for a little NOS, a little extra sugar. That's what I would do as a kid. What jumps out when you watch Emmitt Smith's tape?
I mean, he was a solid receiving back as well as being a great runner. I mean, he has a strong upper body. You've seen defensive linemen bounce off of him.
Yeah.
Like he can go into a hole and it looks like he's surrounded by 5 players and all of a sudden he just has that killer stutter step with the back step propeller. And then he's out of that freaking like pile of dudes and he's running to the outside now. And then he's kind of like a rabbit out there. Like all these dogs are chasing this rabbit and none of these dogs can get the rabbit. And the rabbit's just playing games like silly rabbit. And he's just, eating the carrot while he's running around everybody. But that's what made him so special too, man.
Yeah.
Like no one can get to him. And that upper body strength, along with his ability and his footwork and just his versatility, is what truly made him that special and so hard to take down.
What do you say? Oh, who'd you hate going against? What kind of defensive ends?
Well, shorter, stockier.
What is Emmitt Smith?
He's a bowling ball.
He's just got built-in pad level, man.
That is what it is.
You would watch him get behind the offensive line. It seemed like their offensive line was fucking gigantic. And like he would sit there and be patient, and then he'd have the quickness to jump cut and then hit the fucking hole, make someone miss in the second level. He always had long runs. And that's what like I always think of Emmitt Smith, just little patient runner, play behind his pads, low, see the hole, hit it and go. And like, man, he did it better than a lot of people. He was the best running back when he retired. He had all the numbers. I remember that. What did you think of it when he went to Arizona?
I don't really remember too much when he went to Arizona because he exemplified being a Cowboy, so much. He has insane records, that's for sure. He has the most career rushing yards with over 18,000 yards rushing. He has the most career rushing touchdowns at 164.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Is that beat now? He did at that time. Is that beat? 164
I don't think
career
anyone's
rushing
beating
touchdowns.
that.
There's players that have more than 164 career touchdowns, but not rushing touchdowns. And he has the most career rushing attempts as well, with over 4,400 too, man.
That's what's almost even more impressive. Because what's the number right now that everyone talks about? Running back has about 400 carries and then they get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's 400 carries.
36 fumbles
on touching the ball 4,400 times. That's insane. He didn't have like the wow speed. He didn't have the wow like stiff arm. But he was always productive.
He had the wow lateral cuts.
But when you think of lateral cuts in this generation, who do you think of? One of the guys that we'll be talking about a little later. Whoa, you're not supposed to tell. We'll bleep that. We'll bleep that.
Well, bleep it.
How about the Emmitt Smith game?
Oh, man, when he, popped out his shoulder and just kept going. Well, he went in the locker room for like, a minute or so, went to the sidelines. Wherever he went, he just came back out and played rest of the game and had 15 plus carries.
Against the Giants, do you ever remember playing someone banged up and having to ball out like that?
Like I was banged up?
Yeah, you were banged up.
I mean, I never had it to the level of Emmitt Smith where he could barely even move his shoulder. And every time he fell, he was practically screaming on the ground, but he just kept going and telling himself that he's not in pain. That's a football player right there, man.
You think he got shot up?
I don't think so.
I think he definitely got lidocaine right up in that shoulder. He put that needle direct inject right in there.
I don't know, but if you watch the game, you could tell, man, he's in pain.
Yeah, you're still going to feel a little something. I've done it. I remember I've shot up that shoulder 1,000 times.
But you can still feel it, but it just takes the edge off.
No, it's kind of numb, but then like you'll feel crackly and stuff. You're like, what the fuck?
I mean, I can recall, the AFC Championship game. It was not like an Emmitt Smith story, but I went up to see him. It was versus the Baltimore Ravens. It was my second year in the league. I was having that wonderful year, and I caught the ball on Bernard Pollard. It was kind of a hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
And I swear, like 90% of the time on hip drop tackles, the player does get injured that's getting tackled.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just not properly made to fall down that way with someone falling on top of you. If you're falling backwards and someone's on top of you, no problem.
Yeah.
But your body's not made for someone to fall on top of you when you're landing on your stomach or on your chest. And that's what happened. Got tackled. He landed on my ankle. It twisted. And I had a super high ankle sprain. Went in the locker room, got it taped up. And literally I had the same mindset. Hey, I'm not in pain. This is the AFC Championship game. I may never be back. If we win this game, we're going to the freaking Super Bowl. That's what, you're just dreamed of as a kid. So I had to go back, and I'm telling you, this shit hurt.
Yeah,
it hurt.
It's hard.
I took it wasn't lidocaine. It was the Toradol shot, right there on the spot. I don't think it really did much because, a high ankle sprain, you're in a lot of pain. I mean, I went out there. I was limping a little bit. No more catches, but some serious blocks to get us to the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
What was the craziest injury you ever played through in a game?
That crazy snowstorm game.
Versus Tennessee?
Versus Tennessee.
When you guys won 59-0?
Yeah.
I was still at the University of Arizona.
I was in the fourth quarter, I got to play a bunch, being a slapdick back then. Caught a ball, and Van de Bosch fell on me, and I broke my arm. I snapped my forearm, and I look over to Ivan Fears at the sideline. I go, Coach, I think I'm hurt. He goes, stay in. We ain't got no one. Everyone's out.
That's a football coach for you.
I'm like, all right. And then freaking Hoyer threw me the ball. Like the next drive, I caught a ball with a broken arm. It was fucking crazy. And I come off and I'm like, Chatty, I think I broke my arm, dude. Like, he's like, oh, well, I think everyone's kind of out right now. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. Let's do it. And so play with the broken arm.
That sucks, bro. I mean, it's badass. And then it's badass to play through an injury, but it does suck, man. It hurts.
Sucks.
It hurts like a mother effer.
It's part of the really game. Does. The greatest players like Emmitt Smith for this situation, when they're banged up, they find a way to be productive and they adjust their game to the deficiencies with their injury and they still go out and ball. That's what makes a great player. And Emmitt Smith was a fucking guy that did that with the shoulder game.
What about him? Most all-time rushing yards on Thanksgiving Day as well, with over 1,100 yards.
I mean, Turkey Day, he owned
most rushing TDs on Thanksgiving, 13.
Jesus.
His best Thanksgiving was about 29 carries, 155 yards, and 3 touchdowns in 1996. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys, and he helped secure back-to-back Super Bowls. And they were both blowout wins versus my hometown, the Buffalo Bills. Ooh. People still talk about those losses, how the Bills went to the Super Bowl, I think 4 years in a row. Was it 3 or 4 years in a row? I was only 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. But it still hurts the city of Buffalo that Emmitt Smith put that big of a pounding on them. And a huge shout out to Jimmy Johnson, Michael Irvin on the team. I mean, what a solid team they had, man. And Troy Aikman, was he the quarterback?
Troy Aikman.
Oh, man.
Triplets.
That's a team right there. The triplets.
Now, what do you think of the Lions and the Cowboys always playing on Thanksgiving?
I mean, I love how those teams are the tradition. I mean, obviously the Cowboys, they're America's team. They draw the most, represents the Thanksgiving. You need the Dallas Cowboys on TV. The Detroit Lions, they became so bad at one point that it was
like their Super Bowl.
Yeah. It was their Super Bowl
because that was like their only primetime game for a long time.
At one time, they were like 0-15, 0-16 in the league. They were winning 2-3 games at the time. It really wasn't important that Detroit was playing on Thanksgiving. It might have been important for the city, but it was important to all of America that the Dallas Cowboys were playing on Thanksgiving. But now it's just as important when the Detroit Lions are playing.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Detroit right now. They're kind of becoming like America's up and coming team.
America's up and coming team.
Of the middle, upper
Midwest. They call it
Midwest.
They call it the Midwest.
You know,
upper America, Midwest. Yeah, I've always
bordering the Canada.
I've actually always
the Canada's team actually.
Well, technically, Detroit is the only city where Canada is south of it.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith he was also known for his game day fits.
Yes. What, he had pullovers, right?
Yeah, no, that's what he's endorsed by now. Pullover diapers.
Depends, right?
Yeah.
Because he's always dependable in Dallas.
He's always dependable in
now
Dallas.
He's representing Depends adult diapers because you can depend on Emmitt Smith to take a dump on the other opposing team.
Defense.
Yes, on the defense.
It's pretty crazy. He did that whole polka dot overall outfit back in the day when guys would always wear suit and tie. Like, to think about it now, like, that's how everyone dresses now. Everyone dresses like it's a fucking runway before the game to get your shot, to show that you're cool, your style, you're this, you're that. And Emmitt Smith was like a pioneer in that. Look at that fucking outfit. That's kind of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Would you wear that, Rob?
If it was Halloween.
What was your game day?
Yeah.
What was your game day outfit?
My game day outfit, man, you know me. I was a short and t-shirt guy every single week. That was all. Free t-shirt, free shorts, free sandals. I was showing up every game like that.
Guy wore Jordan sandals 9 years that I've known him. The same pair in the locker room. Mm-hmm. That's what he'd roll up in, just like this. He'd look exactly how he's dressed right now, just like this, because this is all free stuff. And he'd roll up in the game
for
day.
The free shirt.
He'd roll up in the game day. You'd see him in the cafeteria. He'd grab some food. He'd grab a couple PB&Js.
And I'm good.
And then he's good.
Just thankful for just the basics, Jules.
I don't think I think I've come across Emmitt at a banquet or a function or a charity event or some event. Emmitt Smith just looks like happy and cool and rich anytime I see him. He's got a great smile. He hasn't aged. He looks exactly the same as he did in high school. I don't think he's got the hair anymore, but salt and pepper beard. I mean, my guy could cut a rug too. Emmitt Smith actually won Dancing with the Stars. Mm-hmm. Does Dola win Dancing with Stars like Emmitt Smith? Oh. Right now, this is after Dancing with the Stars. Did Danny win?
Wait, this is after. We don't know if Danny won.
But right now, we can imaginary think that, like, if he wins and you say he won right now, then we'll look like geniuses. Yeah. But if we say he won and he didn't win, then we'll look like morons.
I think Danny is gonna win Dancing with the Stars.
You think Danny? No, he won Dancing.
Danny won Dancing with the Stars.
Fucking let's go, Dola.
Shout out. Woo!
Time. What kind of dude is Emmitt Smith?
I would say
on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Dog.
Stud.
I mean, he was relentless, man. Like dogs. Dogs get hurt and they don't care one bit. They just keep on going. Emmitt Smith just kept going.
He's a crazy stud because you think about it. When you think of that generation, like when I think of dog, I think of someone who like he won every year. He didn't have to be a dog. Like he was the pedigree. Everyone knew he was the guy. One of the faces of the Dallas Cowboys, which was America's team. He had the pedigree. He went on Dancing with the Stars. He won Dancing with the Stars. You telling me dogs go out there and win some Dancing with the Stars?
No, dogs don't go out and win Dancing with the Stars.
Studs do.
Dogs go out there on Dancing with the Stars and lose the first round because they're just so happy to be there. And they're just roughing around and they can't figure out what to do.
But they do it at 100 miles an hour.
They do it at 100 miles per hour and they're just going out there and just being so careless and running over everything in sight.
Motivated to win, but they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So then I just talked you in. I talked you into it.
You talked me into it, Jules. He's a stud.
Stud. Stamp it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, who we got, Jules? We've already talked about him a little bit. One of the greatest running backs of all time. Played for the other team that played on Thanksgiving, not America's team.
It could be America's team now.
It could be. Could
be America's team now.
Yes, up near Canada. It could be Canada's team. It could be America's upper states team. Yeah, Midwest, those type of states. So
let's get on Barry Sanders.
Let's go. Let's see what AI has to say about him. Barry Sanders at 5'8" and weighing 200 pounds. Played as a running back for the Detroit Lions. Hailing from Wichita, Kansas, Sanders burst onto the scene at Oklahoma State University, where he set multiple records and won the Heisman Trophy in 1988. Drafted 3rd overall in 1989, he became known for his electrifying agility, elusive footwork, and explosive speed, making him one of the most thrilling players in the league's history. He surprised many by retiring at the age of 31 in 1999. Is it that big of a surprise? I mean, I retired when I was 29 years old. Like, he was in his 30s, but he must have been that good still. It surprised everybody.
I mean, to put in perspective, he won Offensive Player of the Year in 97. He retired 2 years later.
Over his career, he amassed 15,269 rushing yards and 99 touchdowns, earning 10 Pro Bowl selections, the 1997 MVP award, and a place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Jesus.
Woo. What is the first thing that you think of when you hear the name Barry Sanders, Jules?
My childhood. If you made a crazy cutback play, or you made someone juked someone out of their jock or something, it was just like you were doing a Barry play. That's Barry Sanders made Detroit relevant and only went to the playoffs twice or 3 times in his career. Instantly think of the plays where he has 4 guys draping on him, and then he jukes 2 guys, and then a guy thinks he's down and thinks the play's over, and he's still running on the other side. Barry Sanders was so electric. I think Barry Sanders would he would be even crazier in this generation. That's how good he was. What do you think of when you think about Barry Sanders?
I think about Ford vehicles. I really do, man. And he was all the vehicles combined in one.
I mean, that's actually not bad.
He wasn't the size of an expedition, but he played like he was an expedition. He was like an explorer that had a V8 engine from one of the cars that from the Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
And he had monster truck tires, the big wheels, from a Ford Raptor F-150. So this guy basically could do it all out of the backfield. I mean, he could, catch a ball. Obviously, he could run. He was so elusive. He made guys fall face first, It's so, imagine that, being a defender. You're a professional defender as a linebacker or a safety, and you go to tackle somebody and you totally miss and fall directly on your face. That's what Barry Sanders did to these folks,
I want you to describe Barry Sanders as a Ford model make, color, interior, exterior, engine. Barry Sanders, what color car is he?
Barry Sanders would be the grayish color.
Why gray? It's a bullet, a silver bullet.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, silver bullet, but loved by everyone,
Gray's loved by everyone.
It really is. You can't hate on gray.
What about what's the interior?
The interior? It'd have to be something flashy.
Why flashy?
Because he was flashy on the field.
So a red leather?
Blingy. No, it wouldn't be red. It would be blue.
Blue
Detroit
leather.
Lions color blue leather.
Gray and blue. Do we got a sunroof?
No sunroof.
It's a coupe.
Because we're dirty. We get down to business. We don't need a sunroof.
A V8? Is it a
V8
Shelby
engine? And then we got Ford Raptor tires, but they're also on 22-inch rims. So we can be, run over a folk when we need to, and we can just
still get out
miss when we needed to.
Any race stripes?
Just one solid one that goes across.
What color is that race stripe?
That's black.
What's the license plate number?
2020, because he has 2020 vision as well out on the football field.
This Joker did have great fucking vision. He probably had the most elite vision in the history of the game. I want to see this car. We're going to have to make this car up.
Lion Prince. Oklahoma State mascot.
What is that, the guns?
Yeah.
Cowboys?
Cowboy guns. This car's badass. And I'm not even a car guy, and I just built my first car ever.
He spec'd his
$320,000 right there.
Could that car win the Daytona 500?
100%. It's winning the Daytona 500 year in and year out.
Every time?
Every single time.
But he didn't win a Super Bowl. What if he's just the fastest car on the block, but someone always...
You got me here, Jules.
Then the Evan Smith car comes and they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he never won a Super Bowl, so... Oh, man, you're right. He's not winning the Daytona 500. He's getting second, third place every single time.
Or he's probably crashing. He's winning the race by 3 laps.
It wasn't him that lost the race. He had a bad, when you go in for the pit stop, he had a bad crew around him. Every time it took how long does it take in a pit stop usually in NASCAR?
I mean, we're talking standard, probably 38 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it took his team a minute 20 every single time.
Minute 20?
He just had a bad,
bad pit crew.
Bad pit crew, bad team around him.
His measurables. This guy ran 4.3 or 44-inch vert. So Barry Sanders is dunking at 5'8" and 27 reps at the bench. One of the funniest quotes that I always think of when I think of Barry Sanders, I watched a documentary with his dad. They asked him, Mr. Sanders, who do you think the best running backs of all time? He goes, yeah, Jim Brown, myself, and then my son. He would never give his son the number 2 spot behind Jim Brown. That's crazy.
I love
his
it.
dad was so tough on him.
I love it. So I knew about that, actually. You told me that before we were going to talk about Barry Sanders. So what did I do? I went and called your dad.
What did he say?
Frank Edelman. Frank Nuts. The Nut House Papa. Frank himself. He ranked his, top 3 slot receivers. Number 1. This is why I love Frank. And this is when you know he truly loves you, Jules, because you're number 1. And I don't argue with that. Frank's on top of his game. Number 2, Wes Welker. And number 3, Dola. I don't know where he got Dola from at number 3, but you got to admit, he's loyal. He's loyal to his son, and he's loyal to his son's friends. Mm-hmm. Oh, he also ranked his top 3 tight ends.
Yeah,
as well.
He ranked his top tight ends.
Yeah.
He goes number 3, Mark Bavaro, monster.
I would say Mark Bavaro, from just stories that I've heard from players that played against him, that he was the strongest tight end ever in history.
I've heard that too.
Yes, like he would take defensive ends and linebackers and just lock them up right in the spot and not let them move. He was just that strong. His grip was through the roof, they said. And I'm talking like players that played against him were freaks of nature. And they said Mark Bavaro would dominate every single time.
So what if you guys grabbed each other? Who
Mark Bavaro would win.
I don't know, beast mode.
He's stronger than me, okay?
I don't think so. And then number 2 on my dad's list was Kelsey, and then 1, of course, was Gronk. And
I love you, Frank Nuts. You got a wonderful dad. Great dad. I like Edelnut House Papa though.
Edelnut House Papa. I like it. All right, what was Barry Sanders' best turkey day? He had 10 games on Turkey Day, 7-3 record, winning record. Barry Sanders loved Thanksgiving.
Second all time in rushing yards
behind
on Thanksgiving,
who?
Behind Emmitt Smith.
Behind Emmitt Smith.
His 210 carries on Thanksgiving Day for 931 yards. He just couldn't break that 1,000-yard mark on Thanksgiving. That's tough. He should have came back just for that record.
Just for that.
There. Just to say he had over 1,000 yards on Thanksgiving.
We're talking about moments in his career, but him retiring at such a young age, and he was like, I think he was a season away from being the all-time leader at his retiring date. He was like if he would have played that last season, he would have beat the record. And he just walked away. He didn't really care about the records. He just wanted to win. I think he got beat down from losing. That he doesn't say that in any of his documentaries or all the, you watch his interviews. But I mean, if you go out for a long time and you're dominating and you're losing every year, that's got to take a toll. It shows the kind of player he was. He loved football as a game, not for an individual statistic. I mean, there's always stories of Jerry Jones 2-3 years later going to him and say, hey, man, you sure you don't want to come play for the Cowboys or something? I've heard that a couple times too.
As a player, you want to always tough it out.
Yeah.
You never want to show that you're weak. The second you show that you're weak, you're kind of beat in the NFL. You got to always, have that standard set, that bar set, that nothing's going to take you down. And the second that you let that go and you let things take you down, you're not going to be able to perform. You're going to get outworked. You're going to get ran over. The other guy's going to beat the crap out of you. So that mindset always has to be there. And if you get beat down, even though you look like the best player on the field, it's going to come back and haunt you in the end. I've been through that situation before. I bet you've been through it at the end of your career as well, where you just kept taking beatings, injuries. You're trying to play through a knee, a forearm, whatever it is. And then finally you're like, man, I can't take this no more. And I feel like that's kind of what happened to Barry Sanders. I mean, yeah, he was the greatest of all time, one of them. He looked unbelievable out there on the field, but he was always losing, always taking a beating. You just don't know what these NFL guys are going through at all times. You really don't.
He still hasn't let anyone know why he retired. Like, he kind of has. I mean, he was 1,400 yards away from the all-time rushing record that Emmitt Smith went to then beat 3 or 4 years later, or a couple years later.
He did talk about it a little bit when he retired, that the passion wasn't there for him anymore. If you don't have that passion, which can attribute to just always getting beat down, not winning, there's no reason to be out there on the football field. It's not good for the fans. It's not good for yourself. It's not good for the organization. He's just kind of basically said there was nothing left to really play for. And he didn't really see the Detroit Lions being a Super Bowl contender either.
Yeah.
And if the Lions were truly going to be a Super Bowl contender, I feel like that would have gave him the passion, the influence that he 100%. Needed to go back out there and because that's all he truly doesn't have is a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah. Do you remember when the passion left for you?
I do. I mean, I was beat down. It was my last year. I mean, we won the Super Bowl when I was on the New England Patriots, when we beat the Rams. And I went into the playoffs knowing that I was going to retire, dude. I mean, this the year, the pounding on my body, all the injuries were flaring up. I was running slow. Especially the passion definitely decreases for the game of football when you start losing your skill set.
Yeah.
Because it's not as fun anymore when you can't just run by someone or just throw someone around. It's not fun when you're the one getting thrown around and the guy's on you like white on rice when you're trying to run a route. So it was like that year, but I was just putting the team first, and I knew, I could come through in the times that I needed to come through for the team. And we ended up winning the Super Bowl, so it couldn't have worked out any better. But winning that Super Bowl, it was just kind of a relief that the game was over.
Yeah.
But I got that passion back when I took a year off, and then it kind of started fading away again. My second year in Tampa, that's when I knew that it was probably, time to hang it up again.
Yeah, that's kind of how mine went down as well. When I was in practice and guys that I should be dominating were coming close to covering me, I was like, I have to work way too hard and it hurts way too much.
Yeah,
you're not doing it. We weren't winning at that time.
It sucks.
It's hard to be in pain while you're losing and have to go perform.
That's why I'm thankful for all the good times when we were in our mid-20s, Jules.
Yeah.
Like when everything was just always feeling like
clicking.
Like just always feeling good. Yeah. You're just activated from head to toe. Just your running form was just always on point. It was like it was easy. You just felt like you were going through the motions, even though you were going full speed and running by people, man. Those were the days. Thankful for those days as a player.
Just young, dumb, and full of cum.
Yes. The best days for sure.
You wake up and you can sprint 30 hundreds and
without even warming up.
Go bop someone in the one-on-ones, take it to team, come lay the wood on force down in the box. Safety.
What about Barry Sanders in college too, man? He was one of the best college football players to ever live as well.
Dude, he was fucking unreal. He won the Heisman.
Most rushing yards in a season, over 2,600 yards. I mean.
And his dad hated Oklahoma State because he was an Oklahoma Sooners fan. I'm so infatuated with that story.
That's why he'll never put his son in front of him as a running back in the NFL.
I bet it's crazy. But I think that's what drove Barry. He wanted his dad's satisfaction. Maybe his dad knew that. The dads always know us the best.
The greatest fine fuel in the tedious things, man. Like
the tedious things.
What's that word I'm looking for?
Tedious.
The tedious. Things.
But I like tedious things.
I just like what I said. That's why that was on my mind. I like not gonna say the word. The first part of it only because
tedious.
We're appropriate show, but tedious is always on my mind for some reason. Tedious though is what the word I was really going for. Tedious. So the greatest do find, that motivation. For example, say if you just said something that I didn't like in the locker room that day, and I would just go out in the field and I would be like, F this guy, Jules. I'm going to make sure I'm open every single freaking play so he doesn't get a pass, so I can go back in the locker room and be like, great day today you had, Jules. You had 0 catches. I had 10. Just because you said something that was effed up to me in the morning, that's what I'm talking about. Just finding those tedious moments makes people great. Just finding that motivation for absolutely no reason that shouldn't even be motivation, just so you can go out there and just drive yourself to another level. It's like coach saying something to you 3 days ago in a meeting that you don't like, and you're going to go out there and prove to him that he was wrong.
Barry Sanders was tedious.
Yes, he was. Hopefully, we think he was. I never met Barry before. I never talked to him about this, but we're going. I mean, he's the greatest of all time. He had to find motivation somehow every single time.
One of the great showdowns on Monday Night Football that I still remember was the Barry versus Emmett game. We haven't done it on Games with Names. Need to do it on Games with Names, but it was week 4 of the 94 season. Monday Night Football. Cowboys hosted the Lions, and Detroit went up into Cowboy land, Jerry World, old Jerry World at that time, and won 2017 in overtime. Emmett, what a fucking duel. Listen to these stat lines between the two best running backs in the league in the primes of their career. Emmitt Smith, 29 carries, 143 yards and a tug. Barry had to outduel him with 40 carries, 194 yards, and 1 touchdown. Epic battle between these freaking running backs. That was like a playoff game intensity. The closest you could get to playoff intensity, and it was because it was Emmitt Smith versus fucking Barry Sanders. It was such a crazy match. You remember that game?
Mm-hmm. I was really young, though.
I know. I remember that game a little bit because I was...
You're a little bit older than me.
This was in 94. This was my first year of football.
Yeah, I don't remember.
This was my first...
I was 5 years old.
I was 8 years old.
Like, what made the Detroit Lions, like, not good during that era? Because they had Barry Sanders. What made them not good? Bad offensive line, bad coaching.
I like Moore,
not a good
too,
defense at all.
Did they have Moore?
What was it?
Herman Moore?
What was the reason why they weren't good, Jules?
You need a quarterback.
No quarterback?
No quarterback. And they went through a lot of coaches, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they go through a lot of coaches. I don't know.
He deserved better.
He's
He's one of the one
better.
guys that deserved better. We're thankful for Barry.
100%.
Everyone's thankful for Barry.
Fucking Thanksgiving episode.
But he truly deserved better.
So who's on the Mount Rushmore running back?
Oof.
Four running backs, top 4 of all time.
Ooh, man. I mean, you got to put those 2 in that category.
Jim Brown's got to be in there.
Jim Brown. Then I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson as my 4th.
What about Walter Payton?
I know, but
he's a little before your time.
He is before my time. Yes,
Walter Payton
I don't really know too much about Walter Payton.
Marshawn Lynch is up there.
Marshawn Lynch. I mean, but
is he great all time?
No, he's not. He's not on Mount Rushmore.
No, Mount Rushmore.
He's one of the greatest known running backs of all time.
I always
one of
remember
the best personalities of all time too.
Do you remember Bill always talking about Jim Brown and how like dominant he was?
Mm-hmm.
If we'd be talking, he'd hear us talking in the locker room about something. He goes, "Well, you guys didn't see Jim Brown. He's fucking dominant. Like he was just a man child. All old timers love Jim Brown. Like that's their guy. We didn't get to watch him in the flesh, so like you don't get to appreciate him. But you got to put him on there. I think Barry's on there.
Tomlinson.
LT.
I mean, it's hard to do a Mount Rushmore of running backs.
Marshall Faulk.
Oh, man. Marshall Faulk was so good.
I'm going to go this. My Mount Rushmore, I'm going to go Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk being the 4th because he's like the tweener, the new generation running back where this guy could catch 100 fucking balls and rush for 1,000 yards in the same season, which I think he did.
There was Bo Jackson, Thurman Thomas.
He didn't have enough. Thurman Thomas was a monster.
Earl Campbell.
Eric Dickerson. Slate would be mad at us because Slate's dad blocked for him.
Gal Sayers.
He didn't have a long career, though.
There's so many.
Man.
It's tough to do a Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah. Barry was behind Thurman Thomas at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State had some running backs. How about that running back room in college? Thurman Thomas, fucking Barry Sanders. They win the Natty that year? How you not win the national championship with those 2 guys? The saddest stat of Barry's career, though, is that he only played in 6 playoff games.
It is sad.
That's crazy.
Everyone loves Barry Sanders. Everyone wanted to see his career just keep on going.
10 minutes.
What kind of dude is Barry Sanders?
Freak. No one has ever, like, when you watch him move, no one's ever moved like Barry Sanders.
Just so elusive. And it's like a slinky out there.
He's like a little slinky.
Down the stairs, just boom, boom. And the slinky's just turning and flipping which way and direction.
Always on.
And then always lands right back on in position, right on its feet at the bottom of the stairs. That's Barry Sanders for you. I mean, that's some freaky ability right there.
I bet you he was a crazy positive dude, a dude's dude too.
I'm sure he was.
In the locker room, I bet you he was super he was probably like Sweet Feet. Super quiet. James White, quiet, just professional. But he's also a fucking dog where he didn't have an offensive line for like half his career, and he still had the numbers he had. On 3, you state yours. 1, 2, 3. Dog.
Freak. He's a freak, man.
Got to go freak.
You got to go freak. His physical ability of just being able to bend the way he bends and just the vision that he has, one-on-one instinct. He was not getting tackled. People were falling head first into the ground, like I said earlier. You just never seen it. He was making people look silly. Like they didn't belong out there. It was like Pop Warner when the guy is just that much better than everyone else and just running around the field. And they could be all 11 guys in the field in front of him, and he can make all 11 miss. That's freaky instincts right there.
Yeah, but when you see Barry Sanders in clothes, or do you look at him and be like, man, that guy's a freak?
No, you don't. But we're categorizing freak in that way only then. Is if how you see someone.
He is a one of one.
Exactly. One of ones are freaks. He was just a freak at a lower level of physical stature.
He reminds me of the little race cars on the electric tracks where he could just start, stop, hella fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, stamp it. He's a freak.
He's a freak. Let's go.
Let's get on Vince Wilfork.
Big dog Vince Wilfork.
Big V. Oh, my God. I wonder why
was something.
Thanksgiving.
Was something to block. Thanksgiving is his favorite holiday, I bet.
Start the clock. What's AI got to say?
Vince Wilfork, standing at 6'2" and weighing around 325 pounds, played as a dominant nose tackle in the NFL.
325?
Primarily, I think he was like 350 at one point, 360. Primarily played for the New England Patriots and later for the Houston Texans. Growing up in Boynton Beach, Florida. I think so. Boynton? Yeah. Boynton Beach, Florida. Wilfork was a track and field standout before switching to football at the University of Miami. Selected 21st overall in the 2004 draft, he was known for his strength, size, and ability to stuff the run, often drawing double teams and anchoring defenses with his power and skill. Over his career, Wilfork recorded 560 tackles, 16 sacks, and 3 interceptions, earning 2 Super Bowl championships, 5 Pro Bowl selections, and a reputation as one of the best defensive tackles of his era. Known for his charisma and a love for barbecue, he has remained a beloved figure off the field where his big personality and big hits made him a fan favorite. That's a lot by AI. It's a long synopsis. That's the longest one we had so far, but Vince deserves it.
Heck yeah.
100% deserves it. He's the biggest guy so far we've been talking about. He's about 365 pounds. I think they got it wrong there. This guy can eat you up, man.
He's lost a lot of weight now.
He sure has. He looks really good, man.
He does.
Really good. It looks good on him. It's just sad that, he's not coming back, though.
I know.
Because every good player, you always have that imagination that they're going to come back.
He always thought V could, I think V could still play. You just have that thought about him. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Big V?
The barbecues, He came out with his own barbecue sauce. I'm pretty sure Mr. Kraft used to have that team get-together, team bonding at his house in the Cape after you made the team. It was right at the end of August. What holiday is that right at the end of August?
Labor Day?
Yeah, Labor Day. Yep. And it was Labor Day week, and we would all go up there, and there'd be ribs, there'd be, steaks, and then here comes Big V coming through, and he'd bring his own barbecue sauce every single year. And I wouldn't eat those ribs or the sirloin or, the burger meat until that barbecue sauce got there. And once Big V showed up, hey, Big V, pass that sauce over, buddy.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he loved it too, man. He loved being known about that sauce, and he just loved the atmosphere around a cookout.
I was fortunate enough to get invited to one of his cookouts. He smoked some ribs. He was in some big-ass overalls with no shirt, smoking ribs. He just looks at home when he's on a barbecue. He looks like he's at home. I remember when I was a rookie.
He's comfortable.
That's just comfort zone for him.
It is.
I remember my rookie year, my welcome to the NFL moment was like I was rolling in like my Toyota rental, and I park it in the way back of the players lot, and all of a sudden there's this fucking huge a fucking semi truck rolls in and parks up right in the front and takes like 2 damn spots, backs in, beep, 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 backs in. This big-ass orange semi-truck. It's fucking Vince's daily driver. Vince had like a huge semi-truck daily driver. He gets out of that thing, and it looked just like him in front of the barbecue. Just a comfort zone for him. Just a big-ass dude getting out of a big-ass truck. Big V was just fucking so cool. That was like my first welcome to NFL. I was like, holy shit. I didn't even know you could buy semi-trucks.
Well, speaking of welcome to the NFL, he gave me my welcome to the NFL dosage of a hit.
When?
Training camp, rookie year. You know the wham block.
What's the wham block? Explain it.
Where they let go, the guard lets the just defensive tackle free, so then he thinks he's going to go get a sack. And then a wham block is when I come across the line of scrimmage at the tight end position when I'm off the ball, and I'm the one that goes and I wham the defensive tackle and try to block him.
It's like a trap for the tight end.
There you go, exactly. And we're trapping the defensive tackle. So he knows it's coming. I mean, this is a specialty play that the New England Patriots been running.
9-on-7. They know the fucking script.
Well before me. Yeah, it is. It was a 9-on-7. So the defense does know the script, so they can look really good in the run game throughout that whole period. And I think they also told him this play was coming, being specifically knowing I'm going to block Vince, and they wanted to see my toughness as a rookie. So the play's called. I'm in full pads. I'm like a wham block. I got to show my toughness. I got to show my keeps. I got to get the respect of my fellow teammates, especially the veterans.
Wait. Let me paint the picture also. Rob's a rookie here. V was like the big dog on campus. In practice, no one really gets close to him because you don't want to piss him off. And when you're new, it's like, holy shit, that is a large human being. He's like so big. I think there's like something that orbits him, like on how round he is. Like you didn't want to get in his way. You didn't want to piss him off because he was very intimidating. Mm-hmm. Get back to your story.
So the play, gets on its way. I do my little two side steps, on the motion. I'm running full speed right at Vince Wilfork. This guy peeks over to his left. He sees me coming. He has this grin on his face, knowing I was coming. He put his shoulder down. I'm going full speed at him, and he gets that leverage and just tees off on me. I went flying backwards 5 to 6 yards. I didn't even land on my back. He sent me flying in the air where I landed on my feet still.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and that hit hurt like a mother effer. But what's cool is I gained the respect of my teammates. And my coach at that time, tight end coach, in that meeting that day when we went and reviewed the play. Brian Ferentz. Love you, Brian Ferentz. He's now at Iowa with his dad doing his thing, doing a good job. He goes, yo, what were you thinking trying to block Vince Wilfork? He goes, you're never going to do that again. I go, thank you. Thank you. I go, I'll never do it again. And ever since that day, we had about 5 more of those calls, and I just go up to him, I hug him. I didn't need to try to block him. It was just only going to get me hurt from there on out. Yeah, I just give him a hug like, Vince, no, it's the wham block, man. I know you're going to beat me. Like, there's no reason to go through this motion of me getting thrown backwards again. Okay?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm going to break a rib.
He's so
and
strong.
I know you love your ribs, and you're going to,
You'll probably eat them.
Yeah, enjoy them after with your barbecue sauce, buddy.
Oh, my. That had to be so terrifying.
It was. Well, at that time, it wasn't.
Because he's an intimidating guy, when you join the team, too.
It was terrifying after that because I was trying to, gainer my keeps, man. Like, I was trying to prove myself, so I didn't care who was in my way. And then I learned I do care who's in my way. Yeah, when it comes down to the NFL, that's when you learn on when to, take your shots at someone, when not to, when to block someone hard, when to kind of like just
brother-in-law
box someone out as well instead of trying to hit them full speed. Because you hit them full speed, heads up, they're way bigger than you. This is when you start learning the ins and outs, and that's one ins and out I learned big time.
Freaking V, and he was so quick too. Like that's what people don't realize. Like they just
surprisingly quick because of how big he was.
Yeah,
and his feet, he had fast feet, man. He was kind of like a running back that pitter patter. He's like boom, 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 whoa. Big burp right there, Jules. Wow. This is the barbecue I ate from 5 years ago with Big Vince. It's still coming out. We ate that much. I tasted that barbecue sauce right there. That was good. But his feet were surprisingly quick. He was like a boom, boom, boom. He was a rabbit out there.
I remember always going in the weight room and you go over by like the kettlebells and like the arm bars and stuff, and there'd always be a shock put there. Remember him? Do you ever see him shock put?
I never have.
Oh my God. He could fucking shock. He was a fucking track star. I think he had like the state record.
He had insane strength too. I remember like he wouldn't go in the weight room to just like warm up.
No.
Do 315, like 5. He would just go in the weight room just to, maintain his strength. And he would just walk in. And I remember him just throwing up like 425 pounds on the bench and just tossing it up, then racking it and being like, I'm done for the day. Yeah. Like he didn't even need to work on his strength that much because he was just that strong naturally. And like it was to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I remember seeing him in the weight room too. Like Marcus Cannon, when he would work out, the weights would bend. He was just so strong, and he had always great movement. Like he was very skillful, like fluid. Like when you watch Big V throw a football, he looks like he spins a ball really well. You see him hit a golf ball, he fucking has an unbelievable golf swing. I mean, the guy is so athletic. He used to return punts in high school. Mm-hmm. Like I remember, Bill always every training camp when it's getting to like day 9, 10, Guys are worn down, beat up, mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. He'd always have a big lineman come in and try to catch a punt. And if you caught punch, you'd have the night off. He threw V up there, and it looked too fucking easy. I think he went in and snagged that thing.
He was so athletic. He could have played fullback. I swear he could play running back and gain some yards before going down. Tight end, he could definitely play. I heard him talking about this too as well. He could play defensive end, obviously, anywhere on the defensive line. And he, like you said, quarterback as well. He had an arm. He loved being, before practice was going on, before we really got into it, he'd be chucking the ball, to his fellow defensive players, just having a good old time. He was just so disruptive as well. And he was kind of like the two-gap god when he was, on that defensive line. And be able to take two gaps, you know how much that frees that linebacker? That's a linebacker's best friend right there, Vince Wilfork.
100%. I mean, Gerard Mayo, Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins, they all love him.
They all do. And
guys they love guys that take double teams, lets you get to that fucking boom. Got him. Big V just sit. Big V has so many stats. He had so much production for the amount of stats he had because he had such hidden things that made plays go. It was unblockable. And you take two double teams, they can never get the guy to the second level. Like, he just was fucking a monster. And we wanted to talk about him on this show specifically because
what is he known for on Thanksgiving, Jules?
He's the one that created the butt
fumble.
The freaking butt fumble.
The forcer, the generator of the butt fumble. Versus the New York Jets, Mark Sanchez.
Oh my God. And he did that before. Like it's where he gets so much penetration. He drives his guy back so far that it hit the quarterback with the guy that he was driving back's butt that made him fumble the football, and Steve Gregory score in his home area of New Jersey, which was just a fucking crazy game. That comes to my mind when I think of Vince, of some of his crazy stories. But also, remember when we were in Buffalo and he read out the receiver screen?
Hold on. What was he rewarded with, though, after the
he got the turkey.
On the post game.
He had the turkey leg.
He had the turkey leg. He's rewarded with a turkey leg during the post game for his contribution to the butt fumble.
And he ate that thing.
He ate it all.
Not surprised.
So what was it that you're talking about in Buffalo?
Remember in Buffalo where they had that receiver screen and V read it and he was full speed, and a receiver was full speed, not seeing him, and it looked like if a semi hit like one of those little smart cars.
Oh my gosh. This was the receiver. Like he was up, and then boom, like your finger just got bent backwards in a matter of a split second. Boom. That looked like the receiver right there. Boom.
It's not even that. It's not even the mass. Imagine if he fell on you going that fast.
Oh, he squished you like a bug.
Like a fucking bug.
Like
I bet you got his
fly out of the air and it just explodes everywhere. That's kind of what happened to the Bills wide receiver.
And you always
he flattened him.
No, it was that's a terrifying hit. Like that was a terrifying hit. There's a lot of big hits that you see. You're like, all right, you can withstand that. But when it's straight physics, when you got mass times velocity, you get force. You get fucking force. And that's what Big V was. I don't know if that's right for you physics people. Get us in there. But then also,
what about his interceptions? We're talking big plays here. I mean, he had that pick versus Phillip Rivers at home in Gillette Stadium when he was that another screen, or he was just? I think it got tipped or something.
Yeah.
To him. Did he tip it?
Did he tip it?
Yeah, he tipped it to himself. He showed great ball skills right there, and then
you saw your fast feet.
Yes, and then he started just trucking down the field like a rabbit with his fast feet. He looked nimble and he looked agile and just rumbling down the field.
I don't think anyone in the world that watched that play, anyone in the world didn't want that big man to score. When a big man has that, because the ball looked like a fucking a paper towel in his armpit.
Loaf of bread.
A loaf of bread. I mean, it looks
pumpernickel.
It looks so small, and he's like running it, and like everyone is just sitting there like, look at the big man go. Reminds me, remember Conley also did that on the kickoff return?
Oh, yeah.
Conley. against the Packers.
That was cool too.
I love when big men get to run the ball.
Or score a touchdown in the red zone. Oh,
Nate Soldier.
Everyone loves it, man.
Yeah.
Nate Soldier had that one.
And the TED. It was like
the Lions are doing it a lot this year.
Lions are doing it.
And we're speaking of Thanksgiving, teams, Lions, and they're, don't not expect a trick play to a lineman this Thanksgiving from the Detroit Lions.
Oh, I mean, or a fake punt. There's gonna be something like that. We talked about on this show a few weeks back, Tight End University Day or Happy Tight End Day. What is it called? National Tight End Day?
National Tight End Day.
There's got to be a National Big Guy Touchdown Day or a Big Guy Catch Day. It just needs to be National Big.
And it's a rule in the NFL book that you have to at least run one tackle eligible play.
One tackle eligible.
Yeah.
The guy has to be over 275 pounds, 285 pounds has to touch a football on one specific day, National Big Fat Guy Day.
I like that.
That's what I think we need.
I like that. Who's going to start it?
I think we need Big V.
Yeah. Big V, come on, let's go.
You remember in the butt fumble game? I remember watching it the next day in meetings. Bill rewinded it like 4 or 5 times. Barely said anything. And then got up and talked and he said, the Jets got exactly what they deserve. Did something like one of those. You know what I mean? Do you remember that?
I actually was hurt that year, Jules. So I was at home just watching it from my couch, just enjoying my Thanksgiving. And I just remember that play happening. I was shocked. Because we were already dominating them. Dominating them. It wasn't even a close game at all. And just when that happened, I was giggling to myself, what a play. I'd never seen anything like that. And I was screaming too because Gregory just scooped it. It just didn't happen, a butt fumble. And
directly into his hands.
No, directly on the ground, then directly into Gregory's hand.
Yeah.
But it went to the end zone of the Patriots as well. We got 6 points out of it.
It was crazy.
That doesn't happen usually. Usually, a play like that, usually someone just gets on it and it's a fumble recovery. It went to the house. We scored on it.
Now, how do you think Sanchito feels about that?
I mean, Sanchez is a good dude.
He's
a goofy dude.
He's goofy.
So I think he kind of likes it. I think he does like it.
He owns it.
Yeah, he does own it for sure.
I've heard him reference it.
He'll giggle about it for sure. It's kind of like the Miami Miracle. I own that play.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the butt fumble with Sanchez. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it happens.
It's kind of like the 2004 or 2002 Frosh Off championship between the Bay Division, Ocean Division. I gave this interception away, and they won it on it. It's kind of like you own it now. Fucking MA. I'll never own it. It's bullshit.
It's okay, Jules. One day you'll own it. You'll get over it. It's okay, man. We're here for it. Just be thankful for other things, and then you'll get over that.
You know what I'm also thankful for?
What are you thankful for?
That we were a part of probably 2 of the craziest play calls in the history of football. One, the butt fumble.
Yes.
What's more embarrassing, the butt fumble, or do you remember when the Colts had that stupid punt formation? That was
sad.
What was the down and distance?
What was it, 4th and 2? And they were trying to get us on a trick
I think it was more than 4th and 2.
It was a weird formation. They had everyone spread out wide, and then the center.
What's the down and distance?
And then there was a running back behind the center or something. And then they hiked it. And everyone was in shock, what the heck is possibly going on?
And that's the only reason I bring this up is because the same shock factor that we had that did that butt just make that fumble and then we scored a touchdown? That same shock factor is the same shock factor we had when they did this punt formation thing.
Did he really hike the ball?
I'm not a math guy, but 3-on-1. I'm looking at the Colts sideline right here after the play. Are you fucking serious? What is this? This is National Football League.
And they're only down by 6 in the 3rd quarter.
I don't know.
That's the Colts for you. That was worse so than the butt fumble.
Yeah, because the butt fumble was made through force and gravity.
Exactly.
The butt fumble was made by Vince in that fucking 325-pound frame, 25-pound frame, taking his matchup and driving him into the fucking. I'm flabbergasted. I didn't realize we were going to get into that play. I think they rose the banner that year.
That's why I never lost to the
Was
Colts.
that the banner year where they rose the
banner?
banner?
Still never lost to the Colts.
Did we ever lose to the Colts? I did in 2009.
Yeah, that was 2009.
In 4th and 2.
I wasn't there yet, so it doesn't count.
How about the big boy on body issues? I mean, he's like it looks like muscle.
It is muscle. Well, that's why I love the ESPN The Body Issue, because they featured everyone.
Yeah, and it's cool.
And they were
to
just
see.
showing how
Were you on it?
the statue, yes, how the statue of the body represented all different types of athletes.
Where's Robs?
From a guy that played tackle to a wide receiver to myself, right there.
Young Gronk.
You want to know the running joke was about me on being on the Body Issue cover?
What?
Was that the circle was really small that they needed to use.
What circle?
To cover me up.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't they tell you it was going to be a small set? Like there's not going to be a lot of people there?
There really wasn't. There was probably like 5 to 6. How many people were on your set?
I felt like there was 30 at mine.
Really?
30
They all
people.
wanted to see you, Jules. You're a good-looking guy. You got a wonderful body.
Now, how did the football stay on?
It's a good question. I was kind of adjusting it before every shot, and then I kind of adjusted it, so I kind of found that niche.
Did you have to take a Viagra to keep that thing staked up so you could just post it on there?
No, it was actually one of the worst performance-looking days of my life. It was kind of chilly in there. I swear.
I tell everyone the same thing.
I felt like a frozen raisin.
Yeah.
And I was just giggling at myself every time I look back at the pictures.
I know, because your dick would be out.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I was embarrassed just looking at it myself.
It was crazy because like you would see like a picture after, you'd go with the photographer and your wiener would be out and you'd see the picture and then all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, don't worry, we could just cut that thing.
Yeah. But you're sitting there worrying because you're like, you're going to go tell everyone you know. And then that person that's reviewing the photo
requested
too is going to tell
93
everyone
degrees
they know too.
in the shoot set.
Mm-hmm.
It was 60. 10 minutes. What kind of dude is Vince Wilfork? Stud, a freak, a dog, a dude's dude, or a whiz?
I mean, he's a whiz. He has a lot of intellectual and knowledge of the game of football. I mean, he was a smart player. That's why he knew that big play that he made when we were talking about it versus the Buffalo Bills, and he absolutely dominated the receiver on that screen across the middle because he saw that play coming. He sniffed it out. Like, he was a wizard out there. That's how he made majority of his plays. Same with his interceptions. He knew the screen was coming. He backed off. He knew that when he got dropped, he wasn't going to just go to the quarterback and get a free sack. He knew, there must be a different type of play coming. Oh, it's going to be a screen or it's a gimmick or something. I mean, he was smart, bro. He was very smart on that football field. I'm telling you. I mean, yeah, he was a freak for his size. I mean, 360, just the way that he could move, his athletic ability. Kind of a dude's dude as well with his barbecues, man. Inviting the guys over, having that barbecue sauce for everyone.
He was also a fucking dog.
Yeah, he was a dog.
He was grimy in there.
Oh, yeah.
When you're the guy taking the double team the whole time, and you have to go against 600 pounds every fucking play. Because he's taking double teams every play, 600 pounds.
And he would take those double teams and kind of just eat those double teams up. He really would, and just let that linebacker just free to go in and make the plays.
And he's a fucking stud. His athleticism.
He is, man.
I mean, he could shoot a basketball. He's an insane thrower of the football. You watch his golf swing, you're like, holy fuck. I think he's scratch golfer.
This is a true tough one, man. This is really tough to really categorize and pinpoint Vince Wilfork to just one category. Man.
This is going to be tough. On 3, what do you expect? 1?
Oh, man, hold on. Let me keep thinking about this, man. Ooh. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Whiz. Oh, man. I know, man. He is a freak, though. But he's so smart, man. I'm telling you, he's a smart football player.
Yeah, but that goes into his freakiness where you would think a guy that looks like him isn't that smart.
He's great.
That's a freak.
He's great in commercials, too. Like, you see him in that stove commercial now, like grilling and all that. He's on TV.
But you're sitting there like,
gotta be
look
smart
at this
to do
large
that.
guy.
Gotta be smart.
Look at this large guy.
You're right. Now, that, like we said, we're categorizing freaks as you're just looking at someone. You're like, how can they possibly do that?
Also strength,
being that size.
Also like feet.
Can we say he's a wizard, though? Can you agree with that?
I 100%. I always remember Bill talking about how smart he is, a football player, instinctive.
So I do agree he is a freak of nature. I mean, obviously, to be that size, to move that well on the football field, take on double teams and just squash them, just the way he tackled guys, too, they would go right down. There was no missed tackles by Vince Wilfork when he got your hands on you.
No.
So
He'd drape you down and he'd swallow you.
all right, we'll try again. Let's do it again.
1, 2, 3.
Freak.
Stamp it.
Since it's Thanksgiving, we're talking food with our dudes.
That's right. We're going to be equating our favorite Thanksgiving dishes to an NFL player.
Like Tom Brady would totally be the turkey, the star of the show.
Mashed potatoes, cranberries, stuffing, mac and cheese.
My mouth is watering already.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, Jules.
All right, so the cranberry sauce.
I'm ready to feast already right now. I'm getting hungry.
The NFL equivalent to a cranberry sauce, which we're going to categorize cranberry sauce as a little sweet, a little tart, a bit polarizing.
Ooh, who would that be, man? There's got to be a couple players that represent that. Does it have to be someone that we play with, or it can be a current player?
Anyone.
It could be anyone, but it has to be an NFL player. Correct?
Metcalf, DK.
You really think so?
He's a little polarizing. People either love him or hate him. He could be a fun time out there, but he can also rip your face off and try to fight you. He's always trying to fight.
You want to know who really reminds me of a cranberry sauce? That's you, Jules, man. You are a little sweet, man. You could be definitely tart at sometimes. You could be sour, depending on the mood that you are in going into the locker room that day, depending on what happened, and a bit polarizing. I mean, one day you're all, positive, and the next day you're yelling at everybody on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going with you as the cranberry sauce, bro.
I'll take it.
All right. Are you kidding me?
I love cranberry.
Are you kidding me? Are you like that sugary cranberry sauce?
No,
I think you are.
I'm the ocean cranberry can sauce.
Okay.
And it's easy. Open her up, take her out. Probably not the best for you, but always delicious.
I love this. I love this segment already, man. Thanksgiving food talk and who it represents as a player, man. This is fun. I can't wait. What am I? I don't know. We'll get to it. Hopefully
you
I'm
could be the
something.
next one. Stuffing, versatile, a fan favorite, ties it all together.
Oh, I like it.
You're stuffing.
I am stuffing. I'm going with it.
Who else is stuffing?
I can do it all out there on the football field.
I mean, Barry Sanders would be stuffing. Keeping it on the Thanksgiving. Mashed potatoes and gravy. Two dudes. Glue guy, dish, holds everything together. Is it one guy or is it two dudes?
I'm going to go with definitely Matthew Slater here.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a glue guy.
He is mashed potatoes.
He does hold the whole team together. He holds court after the game. Yeah, Matt Slater definitely plays a big part in the mashed potatoes and gravy. Are we working with two guys here?
Who's the gravy?
Because he's not the gravy. He's the mashed potatoes, definitely. And then the gravy that tops that off.
Joe Cardona would be his little sidekick.
Yeah, Joe Cardona. But what about Nico Kudavides? Kudavides definitely the gravy.
He was.
Yeah, he is. He kept everyone together.
In like a fatty way. Because gravy's not the best for you. It's actually terrible for you because it's just butter and dripping.
And Nico was kind of terrible for you.
Terrible, but great for you.
But he kept,
great for the team.
Kept it all together.
Great for the team.
He was great for the team.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Nico Kudavides is, I mean, he played in the NFL at the linebacker position for, 9 years in. Started with Seattle, he played in Denver, Tampa, and then he finished his career with us on the New England Patriots.
The Fook.
He was a part of the good times, that's for sure.
He was the guy that held court. He was a very gravy guy. Loved me some Nico. He was funny as fuck. First day Tim Tebow came in and asked him if he jacked off. Remember that?
I do.
Who's the mac and cheese of the team?
Jules, we can't get into that though, man. Oh man! All right, let's get the mac and cheese. A performer? The mac and cheese. Performer.
The mac and cheese is a sleepy star for many. The performer steals the show. I would say a new day
causes problems.
They cause problems?
Yeah. Because it's either like you're a mac and cheese fan or you're just not a mac and cheese fan. And some people believe mac and cheese is a Thanksgiving staple, and that's kind of like down south. And then there's other people who don't believe mac and cheese should even be on the plate for Thanksgiving. It's kind of like a diss to the green bean casserole. Yeah.
So then who's the mac and cheese? Performer, controversial.
Jameis Winston.
He's a little controversial. He'll eat some W's.
He just stole, He does that W thing and then eats it. He did it when he was with the Bucks.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. That's a good one right there.
Rodgers.
He's a performer.
Mac and cheesy.
Yeah, he is.
If you put a little like
Baker
of truffle,
Baker Mayfield,
you put some mushrooms in there.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, we on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. So say that again. What was that, Jules?
Well, instead of putting like a truffle mac and cheese,
you
put like a mushroom mac and cheese, or ayahuasca mac and cheese, or some kind of psychedelic mac and cheese. Maybe.
No, you're right on. I can't argue that.
Who's the turkey right now of the National Football League? The turkey right now, the star.
Patrick Mahomes.
Without a doubt.
Not even an argument.
It's not even an argument.
Maybe Josh Allen. He's the turkey in Buffalo.
Yeah. His is a little dried up, though.
He's got a little dried out.
He's a little dried out turkey.
When it comes to the AFC Championship game, he needs it to fry that turkey up.
You need a little moisture. And
Josh Allen's like that white meat.
Little drier.
Yeah.
I would say
that's overcooked.
He's not overcooked.
No, you're not.
It's still good. It's still really good.
Yeah.
But it ain't.
He's not overcooked.
It ain't Patrick yet.
Yeah, just not
yet.
That little,
dark
meat.
You never know. This time we cook it this year.
That always hits.
It could be this year. It cooks in and we get a perfect cook. But right now, time will tell you that the most moist turkey would be Patrick Mahomes. All right, and who's the pumpkin pie / sweet potato, the reliable, consistent, little good ender of the meal?
No matter how full you are, you always have room to eat this pumpkin pie.
Or sweet potato.
Or apple pie with a side of vanilla ice cream with some whipped cream, a cherry on top. Oh, maybe some nuts sprinkled over it with some caramel sauce, some chocolate sauce. Oh, now we're talking. Who is this guy?
Reliable, consistent, and a good ender to him.
Oh, is this
it's like a kicker?
Is this playoff Dola?
It's like a kicker?
Yeah, but playoff Dola. Always reliable in the playoffs. I mean, he is a good ender to a meal. I mean, you see how delicious he looks on Dancing with the Stars.
The dude is pretty hot.
Yeah.
The dude is
consistent guy at being reliable in the playoffs. Regular season, if you ask Bill Belichick, he was not consistent there. But we're not talking regular season. We're talking end of season when the meal's over. He was always there.
When the meal was on the line.
But this might have to go to a kicker, though. Who are you thinking as a kicker?
All time or right now?
Doesn't matter.
Buckner, right? Or what's the...
Oh, Buckner.
He's consistent. I'm not... Hey. A little controversial, depending on what pie he is. He could be apple pie.
And I can tell you who's making that pie, too. I can tell you who's making that pie. It ain't him. It's his better half.
But, depending on, he could be a pump. The sweet potato people may not like him. Personally, I think they taste the same.
They do, especially when you have a side of ice cream.
Personally, I think, you give me either, I'm cool. He's made a lot of big kicks in the last few years. So I would say he's pumpkin or sweet potato pie, depending on who you are, what you are.
I'm hungry.
I know. I'm hungry too.
Thankful for the show today, man.
I'm
thankful to be here
Rob.
with you, Jules, to talk it out. What's going on, in the football world, scouting guys, what we can do better on our episodes as well. Just thankful for everything, man. Thankful for the meals that you bring here every time I show up.
Good meals.
On podcasting days, man. Great meals. The smoothies, the breakfast burritos, man. Just so good.
I tell you right now, you ladies, you guys trying to get at the Gronk, which he's taking it off the line, but you get to him through his stomach. You want to get to his heart, you go through his stomach.
Yeah, I don't got a heart. I got a stomach.
Yeah, but to get through that heart, you give him some food, a smoothie, some healthy shit, and you get a good one. Self-scout, what do I think? I think we did.
What could we do better, Jules?
Sometimes we get in these tangents that have nothing to do with anything.
But that's podcasting.
Yeah, I guess.
Podcasting at its finest.
We'll figure it out. You guys tell us also. You guys tell us what we got to do better. We're still trying to tighten this thing up, make it a efficient, effective machine, kind of like it was when we were playing in the place we played. That's not like that right now.
No.
We're trying to be like it was.
Yes.
Like it was.
Throwbacks.
And that's been another episode of Dudes on Dudes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Rate and review.
Comment a dude you want us to do, and remember
to follow Dudes on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. We will see you next week in Dudes on Dudes. It's a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast rules.
Let's go!
Woo!
Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.